Before I start with my presentation, let's first have a pre-test using quizzes.
Hello everyone, I am Sir Jason and I am tasked to discuss the roles of stakeholders. Allow me to sign in first to my Netflix account to access my presentation. So that's my Netflix account and password. As you may see in the slide, I have the overview which includes the topic of my presentation, the elementary and secondary schools, public and private, stakeholders and their roles. I also have the episodes which include the contents of my discussion, trailers and more which will focus on the discussion of each content and the details for my references. For the episodes or contents of my presentation, we will be having the legal basis for school stakeholders and funding, the stakeholders engagement, and the assessment. Let's first have the legal basis for school stakeholders and funding. Republic Act number 10533 is the legal basis for school stakeholders and funding. It is an act to improve the Philippine basic education system by strengthening curriculum and instructions, increasing the period of time appropriating for basic education finances for these and other purposes. Section 2 of this Republic Act focuses on the declaration of policy. The state must build, maintain, and support a comprehensive, sufficient, and integrated educational system that meets the needs of the people, the country, and the society as a whole. Section 5 is all about curriculum development. The Department of Education, or DepEd, will consult with other national government agencies and stakeholders, such as the Department of Labor and Employment, the Professional Regulation Commission, private and public school associations, national student organizations, national teacher organizations, parents-teacher association, and chambers of commerce to develop an effective enhanced basic education curriculum. Section 11 of RA 10533 is all about appropriations. The Secretary of Education must include the operationalization of the expanded basic education program in the department's program, with the initial money coming from the DepEd's current appropriations. Following that, the cash required to keep the enhanced basic education program running will be included in the Annual General Appropriations Act. Now, let's have the stakeholders. According to Webster's New World College Dictionary 2010, the definition of a stakeholder is a person or group of persons who has an interest in or investment in something and who is impacted by and cares about how it turns out. So a stakeholder is a person or group of people who have an interest in or investment in something and are affected by and concerned about the outcome. We do have 8 major stakeholders in education and funding capabilities. We have the community and society, OFWs, parents and students, civic, social and cultural organization, alumni, business industry, national government and regulatory agencies, and world community. Let's first have the community and society. In the Philippines, a national government and a local government unit are in charge of the community, which is divided into regions, provinces, cities, municipalities, and barangays. This community is linked into a more complicated relationship known as society by a common goal, the advancement of our educational sector. As stakeholders in education, the community and society must be involved in the growth and development of education. The better a citizen's reading level, educational profile, and skill, the better he or she will perform their various duties in society. This promotes social solidarity and political stability.
Our next stakeholders are OFWs. OFWs and Filipino immigrants overseas Filipino workers are Filipinos who work abroad and plan to return home permanently at the end of their contract or when they retire. in order to live in the country where they intend to stay. Filipino immigrants frequently have dual citizenship or completely change their citizenship. I remember the year 2020 when pandemic greatly hits and affects the Philippines, most especially the educational system. Most of our parents had financial difficulties in providing for the needs of their children and are hopeless on how to sustain the education of their sons and daughters because even their transportation expenses to get modules, they don't know where to earn. Having this mentioned, I tapped my friends, schoolmates, and colleagues who are working abroad as nurses to solicit and ask for their assistance to help our students and parents who are financially unstable, and luckily they responded favorably by donating amount of money that benefited our clienteles. Next are the parents and students. As educational stakeholders, parents play an important role. The fundamental goal of parents is to ensure that their children obtain a high-quality education that will prepare them to live productive and rewarding lives as adults in a global community. That was according to Cotton and Wigland in 2001. Parents play a critical role in the educational decision-making process. According to ESEX in 2005, many parents' educational decisions are affected by their values and views rather than by school law. According to DepEd Order No. 54, Series 2009, membership in a PTA is limited to parents or in their absence, the guardian of duly enrolled students and teachers in a given school. For this purpose, a guardian is hereby defined as any of the following. First, an individual authorized by the biological parents to whom the care and custody of the student has been entrusted. Next, a relative of the student within the fourth degree of consanguinity or affinity, provided the said relative has the care and custody over the child. The third one, an individual appointed by a competent court as the legal guardian of the student. And lastly, in case of an orphan, the individual institution who has the care and custody of the student. A teacher member refers to homeroom advisors, subject teachers, and non-teaching personnel within 15 days from the start of the school year. A homeroom advisor and the parents or guardians shall organize the homeroom PTA with approval of the school head. The elected presidents of the homeroom PTAs and their respective homeroom advisors shall elect the board of directors within 30 days from the start of the school year. The board of directors shall immediately elect from among themselves the executive officers of the PTA on the same day of their election to the board. The official name of the PTA shall bear the name of the school. Example, Parents-Teacher Association of Delegasmo National High School, Parents-Teacher Association. For representation in the local board and other purposes, the school PTAs within a municipality or city or province shall federate and select from among the elected presidents their respective officers. The president-elect shall be or sit as representative of the federation to the said local school board. Although the primary function of the student is that of a recipient, students should be encouraged to participate in the educational process as decision makers. Students become an important component of a successful school by assisting in decision making. Students' choices and responsibilities for their own learning grow as a result of collaborative decision making. That was according to Short and Greer in 2002. So in schools, students are encouraged to join in different clubs or organizations and craft their own bylaws, which will serve as their guide. They are also tasked to conduct various activities for the attainment of the mission and vision of the school. Next is the civic, social, and cultural organization and the alumni. So non-profit, civic, social, and cultural groups are interested in education, and since they are recognized and believed in the importance of education in development, they have supported educational institutions through sponsorship and scholarship awards. Some of these organizations are the JCI, Kiwanis International, PBSP, Rotary International, and Lions International. Alumni are concerned about their alma mater's continued support. Pride and sentiments are often the result of showing love for their institution. Alumni are a school's most ardent advocates. Alumni can help with fundraising. Alumni serve as excellent mentors to current students as they begin their careers. The alumni serve as international advocates. They share their knowledge of your institution with their professional and social networks in their hometown and countries. Next is the business industry. Businesses and industry groups are able to share knowledge and expertise with schools, offer apprenticeships and traineeships to learners, provide industry and career mentoring to completers, and deliver skill-specific training and hands-on industry experience to both teachers and learners. The presence and importance of business industries are really evident, most especially in the K-12 curriculum. One of the subjects of grade 12 students is the work immersion, where they need to be exposed in the actual field of their specialization. For example, our general academic strand students who are specializing in bookkeeping, we expose them in different banks here in Camarines Norte, such as Legazpi Savings Bank, Land Bank, and more. For our home economics strand students specializing in FBS, BPP, and cookery, we look for partners or establishments which will strengthen their skills with the said specialization such as Graceland, McDonald's, Jollibee, Prime Seat Hotel, and more. For our industrial arts strand students specializing in electrical installation and maintenance, we deploy them to establishments such as Canoreco, and Phileas Engineering Constructions and Supplies. Our partners are indeed a great help in enhancing our students' knowledge and capacitating them with life skills. The next one is the national government and regulatory agencies. So the budget coming from the national government wherein it allocate a certain portion of the annual budget. So in school, this is the MOOE or the maintenance and other operating expenses. So in the local government's contribution to overall public education funding, so this is the Special Education Fund, and the regulatory agencies are partners in implementing projects and programs which will benefit the students as a whole. And for our last stakeholder, which is the world community, many foreign countries are thankful of the availability of highly qualified manpower resources from Philippines. As you may see in Figure 5, majority of overseas Filipino workers are in Asia, followed by Europe, North and South America, Australia, and Africa. For stakeholders' engagement, it is the systematic identification, analysis, planning, and implementation of actions designed to influence stakeholders. Stakeholders' engagement strategy identifies the needs of key groups, and the sponsor plays a vital role in ensuring those business needs are met. In the pictures, stakeholders act as participants in a collaborative process that guides the creation and execution of a program, project, or activity, such as PTA General Assembly Meeting and Brigada Eskwela. The outputs of a project, program, activity, or initiative have an impact on internal and external stakeholders. Stakeholders provide direction for the development of a program, project, or activity. Let's have the things to consider in selecting stakeholders. First, ensure that multiple levels of the department are represented in the stakeholder group. Next, include a variety of viewpoints to contribute to comprehensive and responsive decision-making. And last, seek stakeholders who can help the department achieve the benefits and desired outcomes of the PPA. As regards to the benefits of engaging stakeholders, so it promotes buy-in and ensures multiple voices are heard on key issues. It provides creative and collaborative group problem solving. It broadens the reach of the work and supports effective implementation and sustainability. Now, let's have the stakeholder engagement process. For stage 1, we need to inform. Stage 2, we need to prepare. And stage 3, we need to act. In each stage, we must reflect to ensure that we are on the right track. Let's elaborate each step. For stage 1, which is to inform, we must learn about the project's purpose and desired results. We must develop interest and motivation for the project's work and understand the benefits of the PPA. For the next stage, which is to prepare, you must empower yourself to communicate your thoughts and opinions, contribute as active collaborative participants, make connections with and among all participants, gain a knowledge of the PPA's context, and learn about the expectations for participation possibly articulated in stakeholder engagement plan. And for the last stage, which is to act, apply and acknowledge what you've learned in earlier levels, the inform and prepare, complete the project's task to obtain the expected results, maintain an atmosphere of openness and trust among all other participants. So for your assessment, write a one-paragraph essay that will focus on how we can engage stakeholders in the school projects and activities. These are my references. Thank you everyone and God bless.